We're thrilled to have Facebook. Facebook's here with us again. Now, I think in maybe their fourth year of supporting this event and presenting with us. And today we have a returning presenter, Ms. Kim Stonehouse. Kim's the director of automotive at Facebook. I think Kim gave the last presentation at this show back in August when we did a virtual conference, and it was great. And I think today Kim has Closing the EV Discovery Gap, New Insight to Drive Consideration and Sales. Kim, are you there?
Yes, hello, great to be here.
Yes, how are you? Good to see you again.
I'm doing really well.
Fantastic.
Great content so far, and lots of nice segues from Melissa. So looking forward to jumping in.
Yeah, EV was the magic word there. So I'll let you pull up your presentation slides here just to make sure we see those okay and get you in presentation mode, and then the floor will be yours. It's nice to see a familiar face too. Thanks for coming back and doing this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Does this look okay?
It looks fantastic. Okay, the floor is yours. Take it away.
All right, wonderful. Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about what I mean by the EV discovery gap first, and then I'll show some fresh insights. We've got new research to give you a glimpse into today. So we'll go through that in the next 15 minutes. So the reason I'm focused on EVs today is simple, and it's in service of the many, many exciting launch plans that you all are prepping for and what is quickly becoming a highly, if not the most highly competitive segment with over 100 EVs launching in less than 5 years. And with all of those reveals, launches, the buzz, people are catching on, and conversation surrounding BEVs has tripled year over year on Facebook and Instagram. However, translating that buzz and curiosity to sales, we know is not easy. And among those who have never been in an EV, only 38% would consider one. They don't have enough information, they'd rather wait, it seems overwhelming. But this here we find really staggering. Once auto shoppers do make the leap over and buy their first EV, they are very likely to remain loyal to the segment. 96%. I can't think of much of anything, frankly, that has that high of a loyalty rate. So this is what we mean by the discovery gap. You have shoppers who are hesitant. That is something that we've known. But now we have enough data to know that owners love them even more than they expected, and they're hooked. So this is really exciting because it's a job for you all. It's a job for marketers, and it's a job that we can really help with from a discovery standpoint. We have the opportunity to bring the joy of EV ownership forward to people who don't yet know that your EV is the perfect vehicle for them. And especially in a digital context, and again, Melissa spoke a little bit about this, helping people discover that joy of ownership, doing that online is a real possibility now more than ever, with 70% of people now, as of September of 2020, and in thanks to the incredible innovations led by this industry to make people more comfortable than ever, people are able to make a determination about the vehicle that they want to purchase online. And on our platforms, on Facebook and Instagram in particular, it's not just a possibility, it's the experience that people enjoy and expect. And that's called discovery commerce. You might have heard of this concept, but in essence, commerce has evolved from show me everything to show me the few things curated for me that I wouldn't have known to consider otherwise. It's why your feed is tailored to you, why it evolves quickly with your lifestyle, what's important to you when, and it's why you can probably think of a few things that you discovered and bought on Facebook or Instagram in the last couple of weeks. And it's the perfect tool to bridge that discovery gap. And while at Facebook, we're very familiar with solving discovery problems for new launches and vehicle sales in general, We wanted to dig deeper into what is it, where are those particular gaps between intenders and owners? Because we know that even if we can tee up that moment of discovery for you as a marketer, it's what you do in that moment, what you do with that space, that's the differentiator that really matters. So this is a glimpse at some brand new research. We've got the QR code here, QR code making a real comeback in the last year, I would say, through the pandemic. I'll show this again at the end of the presentation if you miss it here, pulling out your phone, and you can also contact me. But our global auto consumer research team designed a study to more deeply understand these areas, these three dimensions of why we buy: the rational in terms of utility, and the emotional enjoyment of driving, the experience of driving, and the feeling of status that can also drive people to buy or not buy. Let's start there with status. So the good news is that perceived status associated with an EV is a motivator for shoppers. So this is a positive that can be further magnified. And what we see is that positive status feeling is further reinforced for owners. The nuance comes in the type of status that matters. So the traditional view of electric car buyers is that they're tech savvy, possibly somewhat aloof, or that they're passionate environmentalists. But what we found through these interviews and this qualitative research is that there's a much more expanded and relatable set of aspirational attributes that intenders look for in an EV and owners find pride in an EV. So the opportunity here, the gap to close, so to speak, is to make it more personal, make it more human. VW did this really well, as you can see here, for T-Cross in the UK. This is a compact SUV to reach a younger, affluent audience. This is not an SUV, but it's the similar idea of reflecting back the lifestyle, in this case, using Cara Delevingne to really help the younger audience see themselves in the T-Cross and drive pre-launch leads. They found they actually got a 13-point increase in brand awareness, and 45% of all pre-launch leads came from Facebook and Instagram. So remembering that status is not just about the environment when it comes to future EV owners, you can help people really see themselves, see the lifestyle, and imagine their cool, modern life and feeling of savviness when driving in their EV and bringing that forward. Another example also comes from Europe with Renault for their E-Ways launch. They made things more personal in a couple ways. So on the left here, you can see that they're building interaction using poll questions that actually allude to, in this case here, the quiet ride that shoppers don't tend to know about, but EV owners absolutely love. And then we also see they used popular influencers. So this is a top recommendation. Again, Melissa talked about this a bit just now, to make an EV and really reinforce the relatable aspects and the credibility from aspirational status in those moments of discovery. Moving on to enjoyment. One of the biggest differences between electric car owners and considerers is how they actually feel about driving a car. So to intenders who haven't driven the vehicles, the perception is that electric cars feel more like golf carts than traditional cars. And you all know that that couldn't be further from the truth. But beyond the power even, owners are surprised by the technology and especially the smooth, calm driving experience. And those are benefits that are just commonly unknown to shoppers. They don't know to research for that. And that's why this discovery concept is so important. the more these intenders have the opportunity to get inside the car and talk to existing owners, the more excited they get by the prospect of owning one. So ultimately, of course, as you can see here, the goal is to get to the test drive, but there is a huge opportunity if we can bring the experience to life in a digital context. As one example, we've seen AR actually across the board used a lot in this space. So AR has been used for a while for trying on sunglasses, seeing if furniture looks good in your living room, trying on makeup. And now it is really taking off in automotive and especially for EVs. And that's because we're trying to make something that seems foreign seem a lot more familiar, bring it to life. As Hyundai did here with the Tucson. Or as Ford did when launching the Mustang Mach-E. They built an array of immersive and interactive experiences on mobile, enabling future owners to check out the car in 3D, to spin it around, open doors, pop the hood, and they even allowed you to learn from existing owners and experts to really understand what the experience is like. Okay, finally, utility, the rational piece. This is arguably the biggest gap between shoppers and owners, not just because there are lots of questions on the part of intenders, but because owners are so overwhelmingly pleasantly surprised. So for shoppers, the mental load is high. The perceived high price remains a barrier, and the infrastructure seems full of unknowns and concerns. But owners, on the other hand, are overwhelmingly positive about their purchase because they now, through experience, right, they have clarity about the range, what the savings are, how often they need to charge, because they've seen it for themselves day to day. So this rational gap is about myth busting, and it's really about starting a conversation to address those questions more personally. A couple of examples of ways we can help enable those conversations. Keeping in mind that people have gotten used to contacting businesses and dealers directly and online, right? They now want and expect this kind of direct access. So we're seeing a lot of brands and dealers use Messenger to, have conversations that go from interest to sale. But this is especially useful in the EV space because you can answer a lot of questions, you can clarify things, you can debunk myths. You can also bring the conversation live with Messenger Rooms as a way for dealers and customers to meet face-to-face virtually to, customize the conversation and help close the sale. Another thought we have that hasn't really been tapped into yet is a Facebook group. There are tons of Facebook groups. You might have your own that you enjoy, but it's an innovative way to support your owners, bring your owners together, help them answer questions for each other and answer questions for them. And you can also use it as a way to directly connect those incredibly happy advocate owners to the next set, to the intenders, so they can see firsthand. So these are the ways that you can close the gap between hesitant shoppers and the owners who absolutely love their EVs. It's about enabling discovery of the joy of driving the EV and using those discovery moments to make it personal to people's lifestyle, bring the experience forward and to life with AR and those lesser known features like the calm, quiet drive, and also to open up a conversation to get over those utility barriers that turn out not to be barriers at all for the owners who know better. So this was just a glimpse today We'd love to connect with you, with your creative teams, to have really custom conversations going deeper on the insights and how we can make them work for you and the discovery moments that you're driving. So for more detail on the research, you can scan the QR code, or please contact me. I'll toss my email in the chat. And with that, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, that was great, Kim. Thanks so much. I mean, I'm actually in the market for a new vehicle, to be honest, and I've been thinking of going total EV. So that was very helpful, and thank you. It's great.